And we're live. Hello and welcome to Hex Therapy. This is the 51st episode in a row. Next week is going to be the 1-year anniversary of Hex Therapy. And tonight we have a special guest.
Hi.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I go by Black Hexagon on Twitter and Instagram, but my name is ALLin.
And you are one of the people behind the US Road Tour, is that right?
Yes. I joined the tour after the San Diego stop. I coordinate the workshops and the meetups.
That's so critical. I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart because I know this whole thing wouldn't be possible without you.
Thank you, Maddie. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm going to run the intro here, and then we'll be able to get started with our topic for tonight, which is going to include how to onboard more people, what other types of pitches we can give, and then also the psychology of women in crypto.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It's from ALLin of HexTherapy.live. I like Maddie. Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research. There's nothing that a human being could do better than try and heal his fellow man.
Calm about you.
Yeah, so, we're just kind of planning the show here on the fly. Maddie McFly here in St. Louis.
What's your DeLorean?
Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh, that's such a wild story. I can't wait for you to see it tomorrow.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, the whole, it's, I think it's going to match really well with the arch. Mm-hmm. They're both stainless steel, I think.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So we just need to wait until the sun comes out tomorrow out from the clouds, and then it'll be a really good picture quality.
Yeah, I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, it's funny. When I picked it up from the dealership, it was like storming really, really bad. So I have some pictures, but they're more like from the movie scene whenever it got hit by lightning.
Yeah, and I see that your Marty McFly jacket on, so you're ready.
Right. That's right.
Super ready.
Yeah. I have all the costumes and all the accessories. I've got like the hoverboard and stuff. So.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. You might be the 5,000th subscriber to the channel. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
And so also we've got the links from the stream earlier today. All the links for everybody here on the US Road Tour. And so follow Abed and Patrick and Kryptosparbach and FreedomTV.info, and then everybody will get to stay updated with all the shenanigans and all the wisdom that we have to share on the tour.
And I know that us on the tour are super excited to have Maddie join us. This is his first stop. And we're going to try and hold him prisoner and try and keep him for all the rest of the stops.
That's right. Yeah.
As many as we can get him for sure.
Thank you. Yeah. It's such a good energy to be around Hexicans. Whenever I did the first mass Hex meetup in Las Vegas, it was incredible to be around so many people who had such good energy, who were so smart, sharing good ideas, even like we had earlier when I met you here in St. Louis. You were talking about the psychology of onboarding women, on the tour. That's something you've gotten more experience, not just with people but people who are strangers. Is that something you can speak more to?
Yeah, definitely. Every stop has been a new experience. When I joined the tour, for me, it wasn't necessarily about being a voice, right? It wasn't about getting out there and sharing my opinions with Hex. It was really more so in a background capacity as far as making sure that the guys had what they needed to be successful. And what I noticed at every tour, there were, not many, but a few women that had questions, and they were just a lot more comfortable coming to a woman asking those questions than they were going to Patrick and Abed and finding out the answers that they needed. And so, I embraced it. Any woman that wanted to talk about Hex, I mean, that's what we do all day, every day anyway. We talk about Hex. So I just took that as an opportunity, to learn from them and for them to learn from me. And so at each stop, I have tried to make myself available to the women. And we've been really successful. Even with, I shared with you about Boise, right? In Boise, I met Hexologist and I met his wife. And I was so surprised to find out that she wasn't, as big of a Hexagon as Hexo is. Her knowledge as far as the product and staking, was more so that's his thing. And, I'm kind of new to the product. And then after like a couple hours of talking with her, she's like, yeah, I'm in this. I want my own wallet. I'm going to do my own stakes.
That's what's up.
Yeah. and so that really motivated me to say, look, we need to be available to the women, and we need to provide a message that is approachable, that's not just all about the tech, right? Because for us as women, it's bigger than just being, your own bank or being in a technology project. It's really about providing for our families and having some security. I tell everybody that I meet, I'm an anti-trader. I don't want to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and see what's going on and read the charts and try to sell when it's high and buy when it's low. No, I just want to invest my money wisely and let it sit until it creates the type of gains, the type of financial stability that changes my life, right? And that's the message that I want to help get out to women, that this is not something that's so difficult that you can't understand it, that you can't do it yourself. Staker makes it so easy for you to get used to the product, to be able to buy Hex, to be able to stake Hex without going through all these steps, without getting the MetaMask wallet and doing all these things that really deter people from getting into Hex, right? Thinking about the fact that you have to buy not only USDC, but also Ethereum to pay your fees. Yeah. Right. Staker just eliminates that step, and that makes it a lot more approachable and a lot easier for women to get involved.
That's right. Yeah. And yeah, I find that really interesting. I know, I think one of my friends is coming tomorrow, who's, a woman, Hexagon, Daphne, who did my braids whenever Hex went over 25 cents. We were here in St. Louis, and we did that on Quanking, and so she should be out here too, to be able to help people feel comfortable, but also there are a lot of people that I've onboarded that don't necessarily know the basics of Hex, and so just like your example with Hexologist's wife and everybody else, we can't even assume really that even the people who are in Hex fully understand what they have, because they let it be their friend's thing or their husband's thing or whatever it was, and it's time for them to learn more because their stakes are worth a lot.
So. Yeah, and it did. I remember when my husband first introduced me into Hex, I was focused on. I mean, it was COVID, right? So we all had a little bit, or probably shouldn't say the big C, but we all had a little bit more time on our hands, right? So I'm looking at what can I get involved in, and I'm investing a little bit in the Tesla and Apple, things that I'm like, okay, sure, this should be pretty safe, and then my husband's like, it's DeFi summer. I'm going to get every altcoin known to man. He's like, I got Chainlink and Man and all this stuff. And I'm seeing charts just rise and fall, right? Up and down and up and down. And I'm like, this is so complicated. Like, how do I get it? He's like, you can't be on a centralized exchange. That's not real crypto. You got to own your own keys. And everything just seemed so complicated. But sometimes you just have to step outside of yourself, and you have to know that you may need to invest a little bit more time, but the changes that it can make in your life, right? For the last 15 years, I have been 100% dedicated to my church, to the church that to the school that my church owns and operates. I was the administrator for a preschool and an elementary school for 15 years. And I walked away from that, right? Hex did that much in my life in 1 year that I was able to step away from something that I've been in for the last 15 years. And that can be for everybody. There are women who are staying in relationships that they shouldn't be in because they fear, the financial ramifications of it. They're staying in jobs, that are taxing on not only their time but their health, just because they fear, what will happen if I don't have the financial stability to fund my family's lifestyle. And Hex changes all of that. Hex stops you from, buying and selling. It stops you from the daily grind. I mean, it's steak and chill, right?
Exactly.
So that's my point. That's my message to women is, invest a little bit of time into your education, into learning what this product is about, and it will change your life.
Yeah, it's really incredible. And again, it's something really important. I worked in community mental health for many years, and I was a substance abuse counselor and therapist. And so the majority of women who are in substance abuse treatment have gotten there, one way or another through some form of abuse. And it's, it's like 75% of women who abuse substances chronically are in or have been in an abusive situation. And so, there's training, that has to occur in order for many women to have the skills that they need to get out of abusive relationships. And so with financial freedom, that's one of the ingredients that's needed. And
I'm sure a lot of those women would be a lot more willing to walk away if they didn't feel financially bound.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And like we were saying earlier, at the end of the day, women being more independent from men, that ends up being a good thing for everyone.
For sure. Yeah. So I don't know what else we want to talk about today. I'm really encouraged by you. I'm super excited to have you on this tour. I really think that our message is going to get further. And I'm just excited for this ride.
Yeah, like I said, picking up the dude from Kryptosparbach last night when he randomly showed up at the airport, the same airport that I was at in Chicago, and his flight got canceled to St. Louis. So I gave him a ride all the way, 6-hour drive. And he was telling me all these amazing points that I haven't ever thought of for onboarding people at different sales pitches. And so I also see you as somebody who's a leader in, reaching a target population, a target audience, right, that we've been unable to reach so far. And so I want to thank you, for all the work you're doing and for this opportunity for us all to get together and cross promote each other.
Because we're not in competition. And I think that's something that's very important for us to realize, is that all of us have the same goal, right? We all support Hex. We all just want people to be more informed about what it is that this product is doing. We have, for my opinion, we have got past a lot of the FUD as far as the scam. So now that we're past that, it's really about education, right? And so that's why I really appreciate Tony from Freedom TV and his desire, and Barry, to bring me in, because that is our overall goal, is just to educate the public on what it is that this complete product, right? Not Ethereum 2.0 that's coming soon, or or any of these other things. We have a complete product, and on top of that, we have a complete product that's going to be copied, right?
Yeah.
So there's no better time than now to get in.
It's true.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
So what do you think is a good way for different content creators to try to strike a balance or specialize with like covering basics versus like covering advanced topics?
Yeah, I think that's a difficult situation that we're in is because a lot of Hexicans, right? We go to our streamers that we love, right? Our RG3s and our Hexos and everybody, and they speak from a perspective of I've been in Hex and this is where we're going. But for a lot of new people, especially women, they are looking for the beginning again.
Yeah.
Right. So how can you start every stream from the beginning?
Yeah.
It is really difficult. So I don't necessarily have a straight answer for how we do that. I think that we're doing a good job in this and what we're doing here in starting that conversation, right? It is the cross promotion. It is bringing in new people and getting new perspectives and being able to, every time you bring in a new person, to rewind, right? How is it that you got in the Hex? What was that aha moment that said, hey, I can do this? And no matter if the price was under a penny or now over 30 cents, you know, what makes it still a good investment today? And so I think that's it. It's just being open to new perspectives, to bring in new people, to share their story at different levels, right? I just started a stream. I'm not super comfortable in front of the camera, but I do like talking about Hex, right?
Yeah.
So I just started a show called Let's Talk About Hex, where I plan to just talk to anyone about Hex, whether you're a day one or day one in the sense of I just bought in today.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that's what we have to do as
That's
content
fine.
creators, as just take a step back and understand that, you know, we're all at different levels and the conversation is engaging for all of us. I can talk about Hex to someone who knows nothing about Hex just as long as I can talk to someone who knows everything about Hex.
Yeah.
And so we just have to be more open, you know, in our platforms to be willing to talk to people who know nothing about Hex and not, you know, criticize when they ask questions that we would say are a bit plebbish, you know, or whatnot. Yeah.
Well, it's hard. It's hard to find the right balance
It
because
is.
people are wanting advanced topics.
They do.
Back to the future socks on. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, and then, but the people who have been in for a while, they don't want to hear the same thing over and over again. And
Right.
so I'm trying to think of ways to, definitely getting new streamers involved. I think that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Cross-promoting,
Cross-promoting.
that definitely helps. There are a lot of people that I am explaining Hex to now in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, damn it, why didn't I record that?
Right.
Really? Because it's like 10x better than my old onboarding pitches.
Yeah.
For some reason I can't capture it the same way when I'm just like by myself or trying to.
And that's the same thing that I tell people that come to our workshops. They're like, okay, well, I'm a Hexican, so you know, I've been watching streams for the last 2 years. I'm day one. What is it that I can learn from your workshop? And I'm like, you can always learn, right? Even if you come with the idea that I'm not coming to learn for myself, but I'm coming to learn for the next person that I'm going to teach about Hex.
Yeah.
Right? These are onboarding tools. When I came to the workshop, I was convinced that there was nothing that they were going to be able to teach me. Like my husband, when I told you earlier, like he watches every stream known to man. There's not a Hex topic that we haven't visited, right?
Wow.
But in watching the workshop and listening to Patrick and Avid and how they explain Hex, I picked up tools on how to onboard. I mean, Staker is a game changer. Staker, that smart wallet really does create a new way of bringing people into Hex and eliminating some of those steps. And so it's the same thing, you know, with the streaming. If the OGs can realize that every topic that we revisit is just a new way for you to explain to new people, right, how to get involved in Hex, then you can hear this stream with new eyes, right? It's not me learning the stuff that I've already learned before. It's me learning new techniques and new language that is more approachable to the common man.
Totally.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I think that there are going to be lots of ways that we can bring the message to new people and continue to package it. Like I said, the onboarding pitch, that Dan was saying is like, I think that that's really cool because you kind of heard me pointing out all the ways that he did not kind of run into the same barriers that I normally run into, right?
Right.
Because like I want to tell people, hey, don't you know that money is broken? Don't you know that like everything you saved sucks? Right. And that's not a very positive message. And so some people filter that out automatically. I know I do.
Yeah. And same with me. I'm constantly telling people, because Hex has changed my life, oh, Hex can change your life. And they're like, here we go with this again. This is another one of those like network marketing or some kind of scheme where you're promising, big. And so, what I took away from, what he was saying is under promise, over deliver.
Yep.
Right. And I really liked his message as far as eliminating some of the FUD with the numbers and just focusing on the fact that this is a new opportunity, right? Never before have you had the opportunity to be your own bank with a simple tool as easy as a cell phone.
Yep.
Right? And just laying it that easy, just saying, hey, this is an opportunity, do what you will.
You have a good memory. You remembered it the first time you heard it, and for me, it was the second.
Yeah. So, I'm really excited about, what the opportunity that we have in front of us and what we can do with this tour. I encourage all of you to come out. Our next city is Chicago. We're here in St. Louis right now.
The workshop's tomorrow in St. Louis. You have to come and then
Please
type in your
out.
Facebook, my friends who live in St. Louis, and then I'll show you everybody who lives in St. Louis that and you can send them our way. Have them register at FreedomTV.info to RSVP, or go to go to ALLin.medium.com to look at, I think HexTour.us is broken right now.
Yes.
But that's going to be the website that I have to give people updates on where the DeLorean is going to be, and to be able to meet up with us and be a participant, whether it's connecting with OGs or onboarding people who are brand new. We're going to bring it all together here. And like I said, I think Dan's onboarding message that I alluded to in the earlier stream that I wanted to cover here real quick. The idea is you're starting off by saying to your potential onboard, everybody has a cell phone now, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, yep, yeah, I got a cell phone. All right, good. We're off to a good start. We both agree, right? And then the next idea is that with a cell phone, now you can be your own bank, and that can be a savings account that's not broken like the banks have broken regular savings accounts. So people, again, they're still listening because you haven't promised them getting rich. You haven't shown them any fancy,
crazy
like expensive
numbers.
Things, or you haven't even introduced them to any numbers. You just say, this is a backup savings account for you. You might as well learn it now because this is the way of the future. And these two systems, they're probably going to coexist for a long time. Why not give this one a try and start setting up your savings account now?
Mm-hmm.
This is not promising dreams, which I think is going to be an extremely effective form of onboarding, even bigger than Mad Gains, right? So there's going to be people valuing their wealth and doing mental accounting based on the number of dreams that they have, not the number of dollars that they have, because dollars will continue to get more worthless and dreams will continue to get more meaningful as you realize that you can achieve them. But then there are going to be those people who can't believe because they got wronged so many times in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to be open to the message of, save for your dreams, pay your future self, right? That's definitely that's going to be part of my message. But I just love the fact that there are so many different that we can individualize our message and meet people where they're at, right? To get them into Hex. And that's going to be doing them a favor, right? We're going to be spending all of our time, spending our effort, right? We're going to be making the T-share price higher for ourselves when we buy back our T-shares, right, at the end of the day. But we're willing to do that because we love to see people be able to buy their freedom.
Yeah.
Buy their freedom from a job, buy their freedom from, an abusive partner, like buying their freedom from whatever they need to be free from, right? And so financially, that's a big deal. Being able to dream and realize that the future is coming, or not being able to do that, and then looking at Hex as a boring, you don't even have to frame it that way. You don't have to frame it as not a scam. You don't have to frame it as not boring. You just say, everybody has a phone. This is being your own bank without a middleman. And that's something that's never existed before. It's possible now. So go ahead and get your backup bank account set up and start using it. And that's what Hex is.
Yeah, for sure.
Bang, bang.
Thank you for having me on your show today, Maddie.
Absolutely. So I think that's about all we have. We're going to go tell all the secrets of everything that's going on in Hex behind closed doors. Just kidding. Yeah. We've been covering pretty much everything on this channel. We talked about the scam wicks earlier in Bitcoin, and you can speculate that Richard was right, and was he the one that dumped a couple of thousand coins on Binance just for laughs or what? We don't really know. But at the end of the day, right, like that's been a super interesting story that developed today, and we covered earlier with Patrick and Abit. There's also been, what was the other story? Oh yeah, that like there's going to be a Pulse USDT bridge supposedly on Binance if the code that they leaked was accurate, but they could also just be tracking it or trying to get a feeler. But really, it's interesting that came out today, so you can watch the earlier stream for that too. Anyway, it looks like the Hex tour, it's already a huge success, right? And so I'm really happy to be here. We're going to be cutting this episode of Hex Therapy a little bit short today because I think I did 2.5 hours last week when I was in Kiev.
And we're going out, and we want you guys to meet us at the Moonrise Rooftop Bar in St. Louis.
That's right.
Tonight, in the next 30 minutes. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it, everybody. Thanks for being on.
Thank you,
and
Maddie.
We'll see everybody next week on Tuesday, Quant Gang, and on Saturday, we'll do a conference update. Thanks, everybody. Peace.
It's from Maddie ALLin of HexTherapy.live. I like Maddie. Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research. There's nothing that a human being could do better than try and heal his fellow man.